From this day forward, you will never, and I repeat, never let 24 hours pass after an interview without sending those people a thank you letter. However you gotta do it, whatever you gotta do, you need to send an email to each person who interviewed you telling them thank you for their time, thank you for sharing this, or thank you for taking the time to listen to me talk about this, thank you for taking the time to get to know me, something. You need to send them a nice personal thank you letter. It could be real short, real sweet, and thank them for their time, because time is money, and if you want that back, you better thank them for that time. Don't let me catch you a day after an interview and you tell me you didn't send them a thank you letter.
Hello everyone, this is Emmanuel Cook. We will be reacting to a new video today, so make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's get into the video.
So I'm scrolling down TikTok and I see this girl and she's crying, talking about how she's living out of her car, how she's been living out of her car, and how life is hard and all this other stuff. So instantly I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. Everybody is having a hard time right now. Life is whooping everybody right now, whatever. So somebody in the comments said, but yet here she is on social media. So then they began to start saying little things to her. And then I noticed a change in her demeanor. She's like, well, it don't matter because everybody out here trying to live off of social media, and I am too. I'm tired of working and I'm just tired, and y'all all act like y'all perfect, and we all out here. Okay, that's all fine, but you lost me when you said we all out here trying to live off of social media. No, we all are not, and social media is really what got y'all fucked up in the head, because you are basically trying to scam social media out of money, talking about I'm just tired of working. We all tired of working. You think everybody that's making a way not tired of making a way? You think we all ain't out here struggling? You think everybody ain't tired of trying to figure it out? It's the fact that y'all want to use social media for every little thing, man. Get the fuck off social media. Go find yourself a job and apply yourself in real life. That is your problem. Y'all so hell-bent on wanting to be seen, gotta show everything, and then last but not least, now everybody want to try to get money from social media. I went viral by default. I was never up here saying, let me think of how I can go viral. Let me figure out how I can make some money off social media. I don't make no money off no social media. When I get up here, I'm speaking from the heart and from the spirit, and I make sure I keep my life together as best as I can in real life. I'm not gonna get up here and preach nothing that I'm not gonna follow. I'm not gonna get up here trying to give y'all advice that I wouldn't take myself. I make sure that I walk what I talk. But to be on social media lying is crazy. Lying, talking about you living out of a car, trying to make people feel sorry for you so you can scam people out their hard-earned money is crazy. Y'all gotta take a break from social media, man. It's really frying y'all brains. Nobody wants to live with real life anymore. Everything is done for social media purpose. Get the fuck off social media and go take care of yourselves. Y'all mental.
This soft life, that they're portraying to you on social media is a scam. It's a scam. And when I realized it, that's when I got myself to work. It's a scam. Let me tell you something. First of all, right, if you're wishing for soft life, and you're doing it in the way that a lot of these people are trying to tell you to do it, like date somebody more successful than you, that means that you are basing the fact that your whole life is going to be in the hands of a man. Men that can wake up today after 36 years of marriage and say that I don't feel like being with you anymore, and you can ask them why, and they say, no, I just don't feel like it. That's the person you're basing your future on. Excuse me, my friend, if you don't get up and get yourself a job, listen, soft life is it's amazing. I'm all for it, right? But a lot of the time you need to create a soft life for yourself. It's amazing if on the way you meet a man that can take that burden off of you and do it for you. I would love to meet a man like that. I would plan to meet a man like that. But in my plan, I will make sure that I work hard enough that if that should never happen, I am set. Soft life is a scam. It's a scam. Don't look at a lot of these guys that you're watching, they're working hard, but they're not showing you how early they get up. They're not showing you what they have to do to get their money. They're not showing you that. All they're showing you is the apartment, the car, and the house. You know that house is paid with money, right? Yes. Okay, so where do people get their money? Because yes, a lot of people are getting their money in ways that aren't ethically right for you. That's fair, right? So you wouldn't do that. But if they're not getting their money from pimping themselves out, they're working. So as much as this soft life thing is being promoted, I also need people to start telling people how hard they're working. Because you might be looking at Jada Wader, yes, but Jada Wader gets up early. Jada Wader's at the meeting on time. I have Jada Wader on Snap. Jada Wader don't sit still. So as much as it's soft life because she's finally reaping what she sowed, she had to work hard to get there. Do you understand? So this whole soft life thing, like, you're not going to get a good life by just hoping that you date the right man. Of course, that could happen, but what are the chances? Are you really going to base your life on that? Nah, sorry, me, I'm working, boy. If you see these dark bags, I'm working. Why? Because I want to be able to say, yeah, soft life when I'm older. I would love to say that my husband did it for me, fantastic, but I'm not basing my entire life on my husband doing good things and working well. Because if he decides he doesn't want to be with me, I'm done.
Why is dropping off your resume at a place you want to work literally psychological torture? Tell me why I go up to the front. I'm like, hey, I'm Natalie. Is the hiring manager in by any chance? They're busy right now, but what do you need? Oh, I just wanted to drop off my resume, you know, introduce myself. Are you sure they don't have a second? I can wait. Oh, no. I mean, I can take your resume, but we do applications mainly online. Oh, so I already filled out the application online. I just wanted to come in and, you know, I called earlier and I made sure that it was a good time to come in. So I really was hoping to speak to the manager. Oh, well, you know, I'll take this up to the front to you and, you know, I'll let you know. They always give you that, I'll let you know. Girl, bye. Why am I even like, I swear, nobody checks the Indeed applications. Ain't nobody going through the applications online. Please, the only way is if I talk straight to your manager and say, listen, when I get on your team, everything's gonna change. You're gonna make more money. You're gonna be happier. No, I'm not gonna do all that. But seriously though, like, what? Girl, hire me. Hire me, shit.
Okay, let's be honest for a second. Do you guys really enjoy being unemployed? Because I see videos online of people going on trip, enjoying their life. And, like, I get it. Like, I'm happy for you. But, like, after the 2 months, like, I need money. I need a job. I'm not gonna lie, I was like that too. Like, I enjoy all this time. But afterwards, you're like, okay, I need money going in my bank account. Like, I don't know, for myself, I can't enjoy being unemployed for this long. I think 2025 is the year I get a job. Because even if I hate that job, I'm gonna stay in that job. I don't really care. I'm gonna stay in that job while looking for another job.
When people tell me to get a real job, what the heck do you mean by that? I did that stuff. I used to be a car mechanic. So what do you mean a real job? Building a business online is not really a job. So I don't prefer a job. I rather do a business because that way I don't have to trade my time for money anymore. When I had a real job, I worked 10 hours a day. I commuted 2 hours a day. So that's 12 hours gone. You think a real job is good? The reason why you even say that is because you're literally brainwashed by society. You go to school for 20 years, then you work till you're 65, then you retire, then you got like 10 years left before you die? What kind of stupid plan is that? Think about that for a second before you make a comment about get a real job. I'm an entrepreneur now. I don't need a real job. I have time freedom. I have no mortgage or debt. If I was a car mechanic, it would have took me over 70 years to what I made in the last 10 with my business. Anyway, follow me for more.
As someone who is currently unemployed in the United States of America, it literally could not be a worse time to be unemployed, just because, one, the job market is actually ass, just like in general, just like throwing that out there. But two, like, where are the jobs? Everyone claims, hi LinkedIn, everyone claims that they are hiring. They are not hiring. I don't know if anyone else has seen or like seen the TikToks of people being interviewed by AI bots. Hey, what episode of Dark Mirror are we in? And another thing is that I have gotten calls 1 or 2 times from AI recruiters. Yeah, I will pick up the phone thinking it's a real person, and then it'll hit me with the, hi, my name is Ashley. I'm your virtual assistant. Hey, shut the hell up. Get me to an agent. Get me to a real person. I'm not talking to a robot about my job qualifications. And then yesterday I already talked about like the scam phone centers where they're like, they'll call you saying that you applied to a job and they got your resume, blah, blah, blah. And then they want your social security number. Oh my God. It's gotten so bad. So I should preface, I live in New York. It's getting to the point where the New York job market is so bad that I'm considering moving back to South Carolina and knocking on every single door of a Waffle House just so I at least have a job. I have a bachelor's degree. I have a decade of office management experience, and yet I can't get a job anywhere in my field. So I'm going to have to reduce myself back to waitressing like I was in high school and college. Could I even get a job at Waffle House? Hey, is Waffle House hiring? I can fight. I'm really mad. I can fight. I can fling chairs. I can do it, man. Just fucking give me a job. So any of you old head, crusty boomer, whatever the fuck, anyone who is above the age of 40 bitching and moaning that the young people don't want to work, hey, I'm literally begging for work. I've been begging for work on LinkedIn, on Indeed, on fucking recruiter websites for over a month and a half. I want to work. I want to have a job. I just refuse to sell myself short. But at this point, I will sell myself short because I'm not getting my unemployment again. I emphasize, I have been laid off for a month and a half. I've been begging the unemployment offices in New York, run me my money. Where's my check? I've been calling them every single week and they cannot give me the information that I'm asking. They're like, oh, it'll piss me the fuck off.
A few key points here. First of all, why is it that you have to speak to an AI about your job application? Why is that? After about a month of applying for jobs, you start to get very desperate for a job. And then all you want is just a job, any source of income. And a month and a half is not too long. You know what I'm saying? But the effects are still the same. You get stressed out, worried about how you are going to pay your bills, how you're going to eat, and all of these things.
I genuinely want to quit my job. I've been wanting to quit my job for so long, but this job market is very terrible. I had several interviews and nothing came out of it, or they would offer me the job and I would be offered 10 to 20,000 less than what I make. I'm realizing there's not a lot of mid-level positions in Kansas City that I know of. And it's like, to get where I want to, it's more like who you know than what you know, unfortunately. And they've been saying this, but it's to a point where my job doesn't align with me. My job doesn't challenge me. My job and we really don't agree. And I'm so close to quitting, but financially, the smartest thing to do is to just go to work every day. And I keep telling myself that you need to go to work every day, apply, but oh my goodness. Whew, today, just something about my soul, my heart was telling me no more. And I have to push past that, because who's gonna pay my bills?
Okay, so I'm going to share the tea about how I got a job so quickly after deciding to quit my job just after 6 months. You got to get on your Zoom. Every day you got to get on your Zoom. But for real, you have to be diligent in applying for jobs. No one talks about how like applying for a job is like a whole job within itself. You really have to make your resume fit the job that you are applying for. And something that I did was I had a resume for each type of job that I was applying for. A marketing resume is going to look different than a data scientist resume, and so you have to curate it to whatever job you are applying to. The second thing that I did was I really updated my LinkedIn, like used it to the best of its capabilities. I made myself searchable for other companies, but my job couldn't see that I was like looking for something else. And I made a goal for myself to apply. And you can do this like by day or by week. But especially when I started out, I was making sure to apply to like 4 jobs a week, which if you're doing it correctly should take you about a week. And I say this because to be a good candidate, your resume has to match the qualities that they're looking for. And in your cover letter, you want to mention things like their mission and how you align and why you think that it or you would be a good fit for the position. So we all know the market is crazy. And though Jesus has the final say, I did not apply for jobs that had more than a certain amount of applicants. Now, you do this to your discretion, but I mean, for me, it was like 10, 15, maybe 20. It's so funny because I applied to a job and I didn't realize it, but when I went back to figure out who the hiring manager was, I saw that like 3,000 people applied, and I was like, well, not getting that one. And I just think you just have a better chance, you know, the odds would be in your favor. And I mentioned it before, but reaching out to a hiring manager or a recruiter is key. In the job that I got now, I reached out to the hiring manager and he was like, oh, well, thank you so much for, you know, seeking me out. I really think it's cool when people do that. Set up a Zoom for us to talk. And that was like my first unofficial interview. It was one of 3. And as you see, I got the job. Let's do a little recap. So let's do a recap. You have to apply to a certain amount of jobs a week. I say start with 3. You have to update your resume and make sure it really matches the job qualifications. Apply to jobs that have lesser applicants. And reach out to the hiring manager, baby girl. That's what helped me find something so quickly. And I know at these tips, it'll help you too.
A quick reminder, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And let's continue the video.
A lot of y'all be saying y'all struggling to find a job. When it comes to having a job in this environment, it's really all about your hustle. So you need to not just press the apply button, but walk in these people's stores. Call these people up. Sometimes you gotta play little word games and be like, hello, I had to schedule an interview. I was just checking in. They're gonna say, when was your interview? You're gonna say, it was tomorrow. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. It's a dog-eat-dog world. Trust me.
I seen this TikTok where this girl was saying how being unemployed, it feels like you can't live or enjoy life. And I have to say that, like, that is honestly how I feel. And even though I don't think that that's true at all, people should be able to enjoy life no matter what the circumstances are. I find that I feel guilty if I go and get myself a coffee, or I feel guilty if I go and get myself like lunch, or even go into the grocery store just to have groceries in the house. I shouldn't feel guilty about that, because this is not a situation that I thought I'd be in. You know, I didn't want to get fired, and I didn't think I'd get fired. I'm just trying to tell myself, like, this happened for a reason, and I'm just trying to, like, be okay with it. But I know it just sucks because it's like summer's coming up, and you know, in the summer you want to go to the beach, you want to do things. The one thing I am allowing myself to have is ATs, because they're going back to City Fields. I'm like, that's gonna be my birthday gift to myself, because I was like, what am I gonna get myself for my birthday? I'm like, that'll be the one thing that I get myself for my birthday. But it just, I don't know, this unemployed thing kind of sucks. And it's so crazy because my parents were like, no, like, whenever I got fired from a job, like, my life just got better. And I'm just like, I just don't feel like that. Like, I don't know, I don't think that, like, life is gonna get worse, but I don't know, I feel weird and I feel guilty, and I know I shouldn't, because it'd be different if I quit my job, which I wasn't planning to do. But you know, I don't know, this just sucks, and I'm just trying to be, like, optimistic about it. I'm trying to, like, keep busy and do things, but it's so hard because it's like literally you step outside and you spend like $100, so it's kind of hard. But yeah, we'll see where life takes me. Hopefully I figure something out, because, like, even that, I just don't even know what to do. Like, don't even know. And I don't know.
If you are job searching, I would highly recommend expanding beyond LinkedIn for your job search. First reason is I'm noticing that LinkedIn is not doing a good job showing local mid-sized job opportunities. The competition for remote is so fierce. Those jobs have hundreds, if not seemingly thousands of applicants within like seconds of being posting. And so a strategy that incorporates local job opportunities that are hybrid, and I've even noticed that some say a certain locale but say remote or hybrid optional. I noticed that mid-sized companies that weren't big corporate companies were not being shown in searches, or being shown really deep in the search window. And secondly, I don't know if there's like a heavy algorithm that they apply to your profile. I was trying to help an overwhelmed parent friend with their job search and their job search strategy, and I had put in a specific location, these specific things, and they were not honoring those searches. It was for showing me my profile. And one of the things that I think might be an issue is if you've been searching in a specific niche and you realize you can expand your niche, if that algorithm that's attached to your profile is not going to budge, you're not going to see certain jobs. And going back to the regional, I noticed that, okay, maybe those companies near me weren't hiring for the jobs that, you know, I was searching for. And some of these jobs were generic enough, like project manager, program manager. I got a list of like companies within a driving distance and put them into LinkedIn. Specifically, I had to go to each company profile and then search each company profile manually. And lo and behold, there were project and program management jobs that were a fairly decent fit. So I don't know what's going on with LinkedIn, but if you're not having luck, try other platforms. I haven't really used Indeed, but try Indeed. Built-in, I think those are more tech-y jobs, regional jobs. Like, so I will look at Built-in LA, builtin.com, and go to companies' websites, like compile your own lists and go directly to their websites, because I don't know, it's wild navigating as this job search in this era is like worse than 2008.
Guys, here is the thing about LinkedIn and Indeed and all of these job boards. They are good for sourcing jobs, but they are not good for applying for jobs. Apply directly on the company website. Do not apply using LinkedIn or Indeed or any other job board. Apply directly on the site so that you know that they have your application. That's the real key. I know that it is faster applying on these job boards, but at the end of the day, a lot of your job applications will not be seen through LinkedIn and or Indeed. So apply directly on the company website.
Okay, so this is a hack that I don't think a lot of people know about, because I was talking to some of my friends and they were like, what are you talking about? And I was like, you guys haven't done this before? Literally been doing this the entire time I've been applying for like jobs. And I think it's actually one of the reasons why I got my internship that I have now. But basically, you take the entire job description, you put it in the smallest font in white ink, and you put it on your resume, so that when companies take your resume in your application and they put it through like their AI like filter thing, they're looking for keywords, and you already have all the keywords on your resume because you have the whole job description on your resume. You could even put this on your cover letter. So try it and see what happens.
And I never understood the people that make work their whole life, like their whole identity. Like, you putting in all this work and you still struggling? Hell no. Stop overworking and getting underpaid. Because best believe if something was to happen to you, you would be replaced the next business day, baby. Out of there. They will have interviews already lined up for your position. Y'all still stand after work an hour, 2 hours to make sure y'all look good for y'all boss or look like the star employee just to get a 15-cent raise at the end of the year? Yeah, I think the fuck not. Put that PTO in, take them vacation days, and give yourself a break. Stop letting them jobs stress y'all out.
The job market is actually going to make me crash out because I graduated last year. Okay, I graduated with a degree in marketing and a degree in management. I did 2 majors, and I was promised a job. I was promised if you joined student orgs, recruiters would love that. Bet. I joined 4. I was promised if you go above and beyond in your education, recruiters would love that. Bet. I went to Europe twice to study abroad. I was promised if I was involved in school, for example, like me being a TA, I was that in school too, I'll get a job. I was promised a whole bunch of things. If I did everything right. I did everything. I had internships too. I had about 3 internships, 4 if you include my teacher assistant role. And I was promised to get a job. And unfortunately, it's been a year of job hunting. I've been rejected by over 200 companies. So what do you do in that situation? What do you do when you're promised all of these things, but none of those things happen? You've basically been lied to. My goal was to work corporate for 2 years, pay off my student loans, live at home, but unfortunately that's not the case. Unfortunately, I'm living at home still, and instead of paying off my student loans, it's accumulating debt as we speak. And it's like, what do you do? What do you do? Like, you're saying like Gen Z doesn't want to work. All these people are saying like, oh, Gen Z doesn't want to work. Dude, we want to work. You just think we're underqualified. You're saying entry-level role, but wanting 5 years of experience, wanting a master's degree, wanting 50 different certifications. What? And then you also say entry-level role, but then that role consists of you doing 5 different jobs, 5 different separate jobs for that role. It's like, dude, what do you do in that situation? Because like, honestly, it's just annoying, and it's making me thinking about just doing a career change. I mean, I am about to do my master's very, very soon and doing it in a different area of business because like, I just don't know. I don't know what to do. If it sounds like you, like you're not alone, and it really puts you in a position of like, wow, I really thought that I was going to be secure after college, after doing everything right. But unfortunately, when you do everything right, you still don't get nothing. Doesn't make sense. I don't know. F this, bro. F this, for real.
How in the hell were people spending 20 years at a job? I don't have 5. I've never been at a place 5 fucking years. 20? Double digits? How were they even able to mentally do the same thing over and over and over and over and over for 20 years every day? Same conversation, same job, same routine.
Anytime I see people getting fired from their job and they start crying, I wish I could relate. Because when I had gotten fired by 2 people. And they were doing too much talking. So I was like, are y'all done? Y'all doing too much talking. I already know what this is going. I know I'm fired. Let me just wrap my stuff up and I'll ship it to y'all right away. And then they was like, oh, so you don't have anything to say? I was like, nope. Didn't even want to be here anyway, so we could wrap this up. I really don't be giving a shit about these jobs. Either I'm gonna quit, which is 9 out of 10, or you're gonna fire me. One or the other. But for those who got fired or are currently unemployed, just see it through, keep applying, change careers if you have to, go back to school if you have to, or follow your dreams. Now is the time. Respectfully, fuck these jobs. They don't be giving a shit about us. So why would we care about them? Don't put that 2 weeks notice in. Just go ghost.
Honestly insane to me that there are people who go to their job from 9 to 5 and then they get home and they have to parent from 5 to 9. That's another full-time job. I don't know how anyone's doing that. Honestly, I don't get it.
Hey guys, back at it with another video, and this one's gonna be a quick story time, right? And it's something that literally just happened yesterday. I was telling my best friend about this, and that's, if you guys are here, you guys already know, this is job related, right? So I was talking to a friend, right? And, you know, she's noticed I had like the fatigue, the burnout, right? You know, when you apply to so many jobs and it does wear down on you, right? And that's me right now. I'm just like, ugh. So we were just talking and she was like, oh my god, I can't believe you haven't found a full-time job yet. Like, you have more experience. And then she said something that would like caught my attention. She's like, maybe it's your resume. And I'm like, oh, maybe she's right. Maybe she's got a point. Mind you, I got my resume made professionally back all the way back in college by it was a job career services that we had, right? So I was like, no, it should be good, right? And then me being a graphic design student, or I guess graduate now, I fixed it up. I made it look a lot better. So then I'm like, no, maybe she's right. Maybe it's outdated. I give her my resume and she's like staring at it, right? She's staring at it because I had it on my phone, right? So I have it on my phone because what I do is I send out, because I'm also applying to jobs on apps on my phone now too. And so I apply on there, I give them my resume, same old. And you know what she says that just has my head spinning? She looks at it, she stares at it for a good minute, and she's like, And then she's like, this is one of the best resumes I've ever seen. My heart sank. And you know why? Because it wasn't a resume problem, okay? It was I don't know what kind of problem it is anymore. There's a lot going on right now with the job market. But she literally looked me in and she's like, yeah, like this is so good. And you have tons of experience in both customer service. You had an internship. You have all of this and you still can't find a full-time job? And I'm just staring at her because I like, you know, I don't think she realized that she was like digging the knife deeper into my back. I'm just like, ow. So then I tell her, yeah, I don't know what's going on. I even told her, like, one of my other friends got recently who just quit the job I'm working at right now. He has barely any work experience, and he landed a full-time job recently. I love this. And then she looked at me like confused. And I'm like, yes, this is what I've been dealing with. And I this is like a song and tale all this time where a lot of my friends, like, they're just like so confused or flabbergasted that I'm just sitting here broke as fuck, even though my resume is like shiny and sparkly and my experience is on point and I have a bachelor's. So it's like, I don't know, that's why I wanted to share this, because it's like it's a weird ass phenomenon. And I don't know, I've been applying for jobs for like what, it's gonna be a year now, still nothing. I've had interviews, okay? I'm not going to exaggerate. I did have interviews, but they have not they've ghosted me. They have not contacted me ever since. I even asked them after the interview how long it would take for them to come back to me. They said a few weeks. They emailed me. They even said mid-May. It's already like almost June. It sucks. And that's why I wanted to share this with you guys, because like, I don't know. Just wanted to vent, just wanted to share, and I'm just like, I'm not even done. I was hoping that she'd be like, we can improve your resume. No, the fact that she's like, no, it's actually really good, and it broke my heart. I'm like, damn, there's like, I have no control over the situation officially. I don't know, guys. Good luck out there if you guys are looking for a job like me. I wish me luck too if you can.
The thing that sucks most about the job market is that once you apply, it is out of your control. That is the thing that sucks the most. You can't do anything. Unless they reach out back to you, you can't do anything. And you're just applying, and nobody's getting back to you. And you did everything in your personal power to do. You did all the right things. And yet, they have not reached back out to you. And you're just waiting. And you're waiting. And you're tired. Sick and tired of applying. And yet, you still have to do it. That's the thing that sucks the most. And you are running out of savings. And you're stressed about money. There's nothing that you can do. because you have done your part.
Head out for work, and I was just thinking about how like I have so much anger within myself, but I never let any of my coworkers see it, or like anyone outside like my little close little friend group, because I am just so overwhelmingly and annoyingly positive at my job. Because when people get on my nerves, I feel like being nice to them and showing them love instead of just being super mean to them is like so much better, because it's just so aggravating to be around someone that's so positive all the time, that always looks on a bright side when you just want to be negative. It actually just started like making my work days just go by faster, especially being in a toxic work situation, how I don't let anything get me down. So I'm a school librarian, and they took my library and basically put me in this room that's way smaller than a classroom, and everyone was making jokes about it. HR, the executive director, the principal, and instead of letting it get me down, I was like, it's just such a cozy space. I'm gonna add some bean bags because I can't wait to see how the kids are gonna feel so warm and loved in this space. And it's just like, it really does change your outlook on things, because people really do hate to see you happy and just do little things like that. Like there was no reason for them to move me out of that space. They just did it to get on my nerves, and just being positive. And they didn't even know what to say once I told them that I love the space. Like they constantly asked me like, do you like the space? What do you think? But when I was positive, you didn't have anything to say. And I just like that about me now, that I can annoy them in different ways than just being rude and mean.
I am truly shocked just how brainwashed the corporate America has a lot of us. And I'm not saying that to offend the regular folks. I'm saying that as I was unemployed recently, just a couple months ago. I've been employed for the last 3 months, but prior to that I was unemployed for 3 months. I got laid off from my previous company. And what's so interesting to me, I spent like every week applying to at least 30 to 40 jobs weekly for those 3 months I was unemployed. Every single day I applied to jobs like it was a full-time job. Every hour I would apply for a couple of jobs. Every hour, every single hour I would apply for a couple of jobs. Now mind you, I am employed. It's none of the jobs I applied for. I was recruited. But what's so interesting to me is the entire time I was waking up every single morning and applying for jobs while I'm sitting out eating my breakfast and drinking my coffee, is that I felt guilty the entire time. I just like, I'm flabbergasted at the reality of that. I saw somebody on TikTok talking about it earlier, that there's a profound sense of shame as well as guilt, but specifically the guilt of feeling like you did something wrong, right? You are looking for jobs, and the only time you feel like not guilty is on the weekend. You're not employed the entire time, but the only time you feel non-guilt is because it's the weekend and everybody's off on the weekend, so you don't feel bad for not having a job. But it's like crazy to me, because simultaneously we also have the conversation going on right now that nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to work, yet we're feeling guilty that we don't have a job. That's nonsensical to me. Because first of all, most people want to work. Companies don't want to hire, and they also don't want to pay. But even for the companies that don't want to pay, people are still applying for those jobs. Myself, I was applying for jobs that were completely out of my pay range that I'm used to. But I was just looking for a job. I don't care. I've always worked from home. I've worked from home since 2018, but I was applying for jobs in office. It didn't matter. I was applying for jobs in my field that I know I have extensive history in working. Like every single bulletin point I was meeting, or at least majority of it I was meeting, and still I was having issues. And what's cracking me up again is that there's this notion that nobody wants to work. They're lazy. They don't want to put in effort. And yet companies are consistently not hiring, but they have these jobs up. And that was the thing. Even now I go back and look at some of those jobs I applied for. They're still there. They're still there. It wasn't even like the positions got filled. And I'm still getting rejected to jobs I applied for 6 months ago. Because mind you, I've been employed for the last 90 days, for the last 3 months. And I was applying for those jobs since September, October. They're still there. And I met majority, if not all, the requirements. And this is not to toot my own horn. This is to prove a point. I had 4 different resumes just to switch it around and do different things. I had 2 created by AI and 2 I did myself. And I still did not get any of those jobs. I didn't have anybody reach out to me. I got a job via recruiter. But it was crazy how many job sites I went on, how many times a day I was actively looking for a job and was not able to find one. And yet I'm constantly hearing nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to work hard. Americans don't want to work. And yet I'm seeing constantly on TikTok people getting on here saying I've been unemployed for 8 months. I've been unemployed for 6 months. People are taking barista jobs and waitressing jobs. And that's not to say those jobs are demeaning. And a lot of times those jobs pay more than corporate jobs. But the point is that people are applying for whatever is available, and they're still being told they're not trying. They're still being told they're not working hard. And that's why I have a lot of room and a lot of grace, not only for myself, but for other people. Because I'm like, babes, we're all going through the trenches right now, and we're all making an effort, and we're being hardcore gaslit by the people around us while they're simultaneously taking away aid that would help us while they're not hiring us and not paying us. I am flabbergasted at how well they were able to sufficiently brainwash us, especially millennials, and how sucky it is going to be for Gen Z, because they're looking for jobs out of college and we're looking for jobs during this time, and none of us are finding jobs, even though the jobs are listed and we're applying, and we have 4 resumes and 5 resumes and all this expert advice and all this career advice and career shift. I don't care how much you shift your career. That's why everybody's trying to be a influencer, and I don't blame them. No matter how annoying it is to hear people talk about content creation, which it is becoming very annoying on this app, and no matter how much annoying it is to see people become influencers, what are they supposed to do to keep their lights on? Yes, unfortunately, they're gonna have to sell on TikTok Shop. Of course, they're gonna be a pain in your ass because corporations are a pain in everybody else's ass who are qualified to work and are unable to. And then for the people who make buku bucks, make a lot of money, of course they're gonna keep doing this because the corporate job has been so uncertain that running your own business seems more sensible now. Not even if you don't want to do it, because I know entrepreneurship is not for everybody, but what is one to do when you're qualified for jobs and they're either not paying you or simply not hiring?
So this was never supposed to be an account to help people find jobs, but I've had a lot of people reach out to me and ask me some questions, and I want to answer them as best that I can. When I looked for a job and I found a job that I was really, really interested in, I also wrote the HR department, the head of the department that I work under, which is typically marketing and PR, and usually the CEO of the company or the highest up person I could find. Now, obviously, if I was applying at Target, which I didn't, but we'll use that as an example, writing the CEO is not going to do that. This is companies where the CEO is involved in really the location of where you're going to be working. So let's say Bob's Plumbing. You're going to go onto LinkedIn. You're going to look for Bob's Plumbing. You're going to then find their LinkedIn page and or their website. Go look on their website, see if they're hiring. Even if they're not, on LinkedIn, you can usually search Bob's Plumbing employees and it will show you people. Now, if you have the unpaid version of LinkedIn, you can't message them usually. So what I did was I asked ChatGPT, how does Bob's Plumbing format their email addresses? It's typically going to be one of a few ways. It's either going to be bobjones@bobsplumbing.com or bjones@bobsplumbing.com or b.jones@bobsplumbing.com. It could also be Bob Jones. I actually would try all of them until I didn't get the bounce back. So then I'd figure out, okay, their format is b.jones@bobsplumbing.com. I would then look on LinkedIn for who's the head of HR. That's going to be Lisa Brown. So then I knew how to format an email to Lisa Brown and I wrote her. I'm very interested in working for you. This is why. I've included a copy of my resume and my letters of recommendation. I would love a chance to have an interview with you. I sent that again, HR, head of the department I work under, and Bob himself, if I can find him. It worked. I had a company reach out to me. If you've watched my videos, my dream company that I really wanted to work for that ended up not being a dream company for me, that's what happened. The CEO sent my information to the hiring manager in HR who had already gotten it, but I hadn't heard from them. But the CEO liked that I did that and told HR, you need to contact this person. It works. So do that. If you see a job, make the extra effort. If you have to pick up the phone and call and you say to them, I saw your job posting, I'm really interested. Can I get the hiring manager's email because I'd like to send them my resume and some letters of recommendation? That it just shows that you take incentive, that you care. So if you're looking for a job, I strongly suggest doing that. Outside of that, it's really important to stay authentic to who you are, especially here on TikTok. I was told, color your hair, wear more makeup, your shirt's too casual. I get on here in my regular clothes. I'm not in here in what I interview in. So I know those things, but I do think you have to be true to who you are. You don't want to be looking completely different than you're going to show up to work. One, they're not going to be happy. Two, you're not going to be happy. You don't want to work somewhere where you have to pretend to be someone else. Well, at least I don't think you do. I don't. So my suggestion to you is go into the interview full of who you are. The job I took, they asked me what animal I would be if I said I was an animal. My answer to that is a kiwi. I love the kiwi. It's my little logo. It's my coconut bird. I know that people who know me would not say that. So I said to them, well, I would say a kiwi, but everybody else would say something else. And they said, oh, what would everybody else say? And I said a bear or a lion. And if you know me personally, you know that's true. I am fiercely loyal and am a mama bear and will defend anybody in my circle to the death. So they also knew that side of me, where if I had just said what they wanted to hear, they wouldn't have known both sides, kind of how I view myself and how others view me from my viewpoint. Again, I'm not a specialist. This isn't what I do for work or a living, but this is how I approached it. If you have any questions, message me. I woke up this morning to 114 messages about how to find a job. So that's why I posted this. I'm happy to answer any questions. I'm happy to share my experience. I hope whoever's watching this was helpful, and just believe in yourself and it will happen. It really will happen. It just feels like it won't for a really long time. I'm so sorry.
Guys, during the job interview process, do not lie or pretend to be a person that you're not. Be who you are, and if they're not okay with that, then that's totally fine. That is not the job for you. Yes, I know that you want a job, but you also want a good, safe place to work. You want a place that you actually like to work. You want to work in a place where they actually accept you for who you are from the jump. I appreciate you guys watching the video today. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.